Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars and welcome to another PlayStation review. Today I'm bringing you a quick review for Barista Master Cafe Empire on the PlayStation 4. Now this came out a few days ago on the PlayStation Store. It's another one of these simulation type games. They come out all the time on the PlayStation Store. Some of them are absolutely terrible. And some of them are actually worth your time. Well, which one is this? Well, this was a little bit somewhere in the middle, I would suggest. This is a very, very low price game in a sense of I think it's about $7.99 in the UK. It's not an expensive game. And for those of you out there who are slaves to your coffee and you fancy yourself as a bit of a coffee expert and a barrister, well, you get to fulfill your dream here by becoming the owner of your own coffee house, essentially, or your own coffee cafe. So you basically start off with a little bit of money in the bank. You've got a small premises. You've got to buy your equipment, and by that I mean you've got to buy yourself an espresso machine, as you can see here. You've got to buy yourself some stock, so you've got to buy yourself some coffee, some cups, so on and so forth. And you start off with a very, very small amount on your coffee menu. Essentially, it's just espressos, doppios, tripleos, whatever they call them. And then your customers will come in at the beginning of the day. Your opening hours, I think, are between the hours of 8 in the morning till 8 at night, I think. So you've got to kind of buy your coffee, they get delivered, you go and pick up your stock, you pop it in your warehouse in the back, you stock your shelves with your coffee, all that kind of stuff. You put your coffee in the grinder, you fill up your espresso machine, you get your cups ready, and you take your orders from your customers, and you've got a certain amount of time to complete their order. And if you do complete their order within that time period, they'll go away happy and give you money, obviously, to go towards improving your business. Now that sounds all very simple. However, it does take a little bit of getting used to this game. There is very little in the way of a tutorial here. It's one of those tutorials that tells you what to do but doesn't necessarily tell you how to do it. So it does take you a little bit of time to kind of find your feet with this one. And you do start off very, very slow, like I said, which is a good news, really. Because when you look at all the things you can buy in the store, it can feel a little bit overwhelming because you've got loads of different coffees to buy, and then you've got loads of different milks and creams and cakes and sandwiches, and I mean there's a whole list of things you can buy in the shop, and those come much later in the game, when you basically have expanded your store. So when you've made enough money, sort of thing, you can start upgrading your cafe. There's quite a few upgrades, and each time you kind of upgrade, it'll kind of expand your store slightly. So it'll give you like an extra counter. The next time you upgrade, it'll open up the toilets for the customers. You can then start hiring people to work in your store. Now I found it when I started doing that, when I hired people to work in my cafe. Basically, I hired a barista to kind of serve the coffees, and then I hired a cleaner to clean up the store, because you got to keep it clean and fresh and all that kind of stuff. So you can go around, you've got to pick up like trash, and you've got to wipe up mucky foot boot prints and all that kind of stuff. But if you hire staff to do it, they will do all that stuff for you. However, there's a cost. I think it's something like £100 or dollars a day. But if you're doing it right, you can make that kind of money just by serving one customer, if you like. And it can get I found it quite complicated early on, and I kept messing up the orders. So it made sense to me to hire a barista who would not mess up their orders. And then I'd start slowly but surely increasing my profit margins so that I didn't have any problems paying his wage, and I didn't have any problems paying the bills. I mean, that's another thing as well. You have to pay your bills. So you've got to pay your staff wages, you've got to pay your electricity, your rent, everything. And it doesn't tell you when to do that, or it didn't to me. And it got to the point where I hadn't paid my electricity for so long, it just got turned off. So I had to go in. I'd hired the barista and he was just stood around doing nothing. And I thought, what is going on here? And then none of the equipment would work. And then I realised that the electricity had gone off. So then I had a look on the computer and then I saw the bill section. So your bills aren't paid automatically whether you've got the money or not. You have to go into the bills part and pay the bills. Once you pay the bills, you obviously can put the electricity back on and your staff will to carry on working basically when you've paid them. So for me personally, I found that the best way to work it, so that the barista would do the coffee orders. So you can eventually hire more than one as well. But initially, I had him doing the coffee orders on one side of the cafe, and I was on the other side of the cafe, serving some other customers. So we were kind of doubling our profits for a while. And then I just kept expanding the cafe to the point where you can buy them cakes and sandwiches and put them in display cases to make even bigger profits. You could put furniture out in the cafe then for people to sit. And then it naturally grows and your profits increase, all this kind of stuff. Now, I'm not here to tell you that this is a bang-on game, because it really isn't, guys. This is very, very basic stuff. As you can see, the graphics will never win any awards here. They're functional, but that's about the biggest compliment I can give them. There's any number of bugs really here as well. I mean, like I say, the barista, he was doing this weird thing. He was serving customers and then going around the back of the cafe, and I couldn't figure out what he was doing. So I started following him, and he was just going to the back of the cafe, fiddling about on the wall, and then the customer was served. So there's weird things going on in this game, glitches and stuff like that. But if you've got the patience and, like I say, you don't mind this type of thing, then there's definitely a gain here, guys. Quite an interesting and addictive gameplay loop if you like these type of simulation games. And you know, like I say, this one's coffee stroke cafe related. You know, everything it does work. It's just a little bit rough around the edges. So I mean, even for the price of this thing, which is less than £10 in the UK, I would probably say if you're really interested, I would wait for a sale. I don't imagine it'll be long before this one goes in a sale. If you're a fan of simulation games and you like to kind of try out them all, you could do much worse than this. I've played worse than this, and I've reviewed worse than this on the channel. This one might be worth your time, so let me know, guys, if you're interested in picking this game up. And I hope you found this review useful. I'll be back with more content on the channel very, very soon.